I was checking on today is Friday, July 1st. Welcome to the Anyone Can Farm live chat. Friday night edition. This is the open Friday / question and answer. And I can tell you this, the question and answer shows are coming to a limit. We're going to limit them. All right, so actually, we will restrict Q&A. It will be a function of consulting, and you will have to be a member of the Anyone Can Farm Plus or Tribe Plus. All right, so that's coming next week. We're not going to fool around with that this weekend. We're going to wait until after the holidays to kick that off. But really exciting. It's really exciting. It's going to be really good. All right, Andy's with us. How you doing, Andy? Lenny Racine is with us from Chicago. All right, so tonight we set a little time aside, hey, Dave, for your guys' things. You know, what do you want to talk about? Usually I'm the one that just drives the conversation, like I want to talk about something. And I definitely had a few things to talk about this week. I talked about the big lie last night, which I thought turned out really well. Would you just look at that? Would you look at that? All right. And we got big things coming up. We got Tribe Weekend coming up next week. And you think 4th of July is a big time. Yeah. Well, Tribe Day is going to be really cool. I'm really looking forward to it. We're getting a lot of things completed and a lot of things prepared. I got to do a lot of mowing. My day today went something like this. We had to be up early to process chickens. We had 180 on the schedule. And that's doable. It's not like a freak out day or anything, but we needed a little extra help to do that. And then one guy came, and about half of his birds were dead because he put them in cardboard boxes and taped them shut in the back of his pickup with a cap on with no windows open. So he learned an important lesson. Hello, DeCleric, right on. And then a couple people just didn't show. And that's kind of an issue when you're in business that I think we're going to spend quite a bit of time on when we finally get behind the membership wall, I guess. And I do want to talk about that because it's something that people need to know. They need to understand how that works. When you're in a farm business, a lot of times people treat farm businesses just like they're the corner store. Like if you call a corner store, hey, you open? Yeah, we're open. But then something comes up and you can't make it down to the store. It's like, well, they're open anyway, and they're not waiting for me. But with a farm business, it's a little bit different. When, we have people on the schedule for chickens, we fill it right up to 200. And then you have people that have taken a slot for 50 and just don't show. It's not good. It's not good. And I can get a little heated. I was a little heated today anyway because it was a hot day. And it's just quite a day. It's quite a day. All right. So today is going to be Open Line Friday. So I would like it if you guys would bring your subjects to the table or questions, and then I can expound on those. If we don't get a lot of questions or anything like that, I am going to leave it where I left it last night with the big lie. I think that's something worth talking about more. I think I hope you stewed on that today. I certainly did, because I think like the VeggieTales thing, the lie, how it affects so many things down the road. And then when we back it up and we say, who started that? We can really see who would have benefited from a lie like that, because it's certainly a lie. And the effects that it has had when people get into farming, I don't know if I brought this up last night, but it occurred to me today. When you are told that there ain't no money in farming, and then you have that learning curve that you go through, and whoa, we raised chickens. It cost us, $2 per chicken that we raised, like, or it cost us $2 extra than we would have paid if we got in the store. That's because you're new and you're not too streamlined yet, and you fall back to the, well, I guess there ain't no money in farming, you know. So it has a way of discouraging people. They want to farm, they want to be, they want, you get a tickle from farming. Like, there's something about human beings that when we prepare for ourselves, or we prepare for our families, it makes us feel like we've done the right thing. Okay, we did good. All right, we're where we're supposed to be. And you can get that feeling by going to work too. Well, I get my paycheck. It sucked, but here's my paycheck, and I can do this, this, and this. That's good. That's really good. I'm not at this point in our history, I'm not a big quit your job and start a farm. I'm not there. I really am all about, nope, keep your job. Hopefully you have a traditional family where mom can bear a little bit more. She's got the kids and she's home, but she can bear a little bit more. And then dad can throw down when he gets home from work and on weekends. And sleep is overrated anyway, Dad. You know that. And then you get to a point where you say, well, I don't really need my job anymore because we're making enough here to make ends meet. And that's when you are in a good position. Now, it might take a while, but if you work towards it, you can get there. You can get there. All right. So if we want to talk a little bit more about that, I wouldn't mind, because successful homesteading is what we're about. I would like to see far more successful homesteaders out there. And oh, by the way, since the cleric's on here right now, I got to give them a shout out. I've come on here and I've said, this is what I think needs to happen, right? Like, I don't run the country, but this is what I think. This is what I'm doing for my family. And we offered a class. The clerics took the class. We got to know them. We started up the show, I guess, about the same time, or maybe a little bit before that. I don't know. But after a while, I started to say, you know what? You all need to be teaching other people what you're doing. What did the clerics do? Bam. They did a organic gardening class and, had a full house. It was a really fun time. I went, I had a great time. Really got motivated, came home, made a few changes to what I was doing and did some other stuff. And oh, by the way, I'm getting really nice strawberries right now, and they're not getting totally weeded out. So I've got strawberries now, which in the past I've killed a lot of strawberry plants. I really have. So I asked and they did it. Right now, maybe they would have done it anyway, but I'll take the credit for it. No, not the credit. Not the credit. I'm not going to take credit. They did it. I said this would be a good thing if you did. Maybe they were thinking the same thing. I don't know. But I'm certainly going to cut a notch in my desk. Okay. Certainly I'm gonna count that. That's good. I've said it'd be a good idea if you guys put in a butcher shop. Beth posted pictures of their shop today. It's coming along. And I was in it. I got to walk around in it. And I'm going to be doing a class down there in the fall. And then they did a pastured poultry class. And from the looks of it, it looks like it was a smash. Looks like they really did good. So I don't want anyone to underestimate the ripples on the pond when you do something like that. All those people that went to the cleric's house, did we have lunch? I don't remember if we had lunch or not. Maybe we came after lunch. Wow. Senior moment. Anyway, but there was drinks and stuff, and I don't remember if we had lunch or not. Huh. But all those people, and we got to talk with a bunch of people, and then they went out and they inspired other people. That ripple can be a tidal wave down the road. And that's why they create these things like, oh, there ain't no money in farming type thing to keep you from doing it. Why? Because food is a cartel. It's been cartelized, right? And there are people that are at the top of the pyramid, and they have marketing people working for them. And they say, how can we get more of this market share? I know, get more people to get out of farming. Hey, good idea. How are we going to do that? I don't know. We'll start a saying. We'll just say, chicks hate farmers. Yeah, that'll work. No, actually, women like farmers, right? Because they see farmers as potential providers for their children. So anybody that creates food is revered these days, right? It's not like, oh, you just dumb farmer or damn farmer. It's not that way anymore. It is not that way anymore. Honestly, I can tell you, people are really into the things that we've discovered, and they want to know. That's why you'll see Tribe Day. You'll have a lot of people here, and they just want to immerse themselves in this whole farming thing, and then they went to, I know, there ain't no money in farming, or probably started off with, there isn't any dollars. No, there isn't any financial gain in agriculture. And then some other smart parasite in the room said, no, they won't believe us. You got to talk their talk. Oh, okay. Well, how about there ain't no money in farming? That's it. You've got it. That's beautiful. And out they put it, No, I don't know. But I don't believe that it's farmers that are saying there ain't no money in farming, because even if you have a bad year, you saw where you were going, right? And maybe something happened, and I got hit by lightning or something like that. But if I hadn't gotten hit by lightning, I'd have had a good year. And you spend a lot of time out there on the tractor driver now and thinking, well, I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this. Farmers do a lot of thinking. They think a lot, right? My friend that I reference him all the time. He was the guy that was probably most influential to me as far as farming. His name is Paul Hinderigger. I wonder if he listens to this. I doubt it. I haven't seen him in a few years, like 15, but I've talked to him. Oh, I talked to him about a year ago. He called me, and he's still kicking. Real character. And he used to say that once you start farming, it gives you a chance to think. And when I was in the Air Force, going to the base, through the gate, salute, and all this stuff going on all the time, you really didn't have time to think much. You were always kind of watching for the next thing that you were supposed to do, and deciding how you're going to do it. But I really didn't get a chance to think all that much like I do now. I get a chance to think now. Like I am the one that decides what I'm going to do. Well, Beth, I remember staying for dinner for sure. Yep, tacos, but I just wasn't sure if we had lunch. But you can't underestimate that victory, and that what you and Tommy did. You hosted all those people in that day. There was a lot of moving parts there. There really was. And I know you were new at it too. I could see, whoa, you know, you get a lot of energy coming your way when you're the one that's sitting there and everybody's waiting for your words of wisdom. There's a lot of energy coming your way, and it rattles you a little bit. But I knew you were going to get through it. Maybe you didn't feel it. Maybe I'm just projecting how I feel when that happens. But that is signed, sealed, and delivered. It's done. Nobody can take that away. It's wrapped up. It's a package, and it's delivered, right? And you're going to make an impact from that for a long time. A long time. I mean, there's a principle known in marketing as the long tail operation, I guess, or long tail marketing ploy or something like that. I'm not exactly, but I know it's long tail. And it's sort of like if we make a fencing video. I made a fencing video a couple years ago, and it's on our website, bakersgreenacres.com, and people like, well, I'm going to buy it. And so people buy it, $10, and they get the pin and all that, and they can watch it. Well, 10 years from now, people will still be saying, hey, I want to watch that. So it's got a long tail on it. And every year it gets out further and further. Our footprint gets bigger and bigger. You know, Joe's videos are getting more and more traction. It's sort of like farming, real farming. As you farm, your fertility increases, your viability increases, doesn't decrease, right? The decrease model is the wartime model. Well, yeah, you know, if you cut hay off there, you better put fertilizer on it next year, or you're not going to get any hay. Oh, really? So I don't just have my hay crop and my cow manure is not good enough. Nope. You need some fertilizer from us. That's the depletion model. That's the austerity model. And we try to stay away from that. You want to do things like you grow a field of turnips, your pigs go on those turnips, they harvest it, so you're feeding them, they're creating pork and fat, and they're manuring and urinating out on the field. All the microbes that are in their urine and manure are feeding the soil. All that organic material is going back into the soil, and so the soil increases. It becomes darker, becomes more fertile. It has the ability to digest more organic material, right? So if you, I put it like this, if you don't quite dig what I'm saying here, excuse me, I got a piece of hay in my throat. If you tried to compost a piece of manure in sand, it doesn't work real good because there's not much in sand. Sand is kind of inert in a way. There's not a lot of life in it. But the more times you do it and the more biological material that's in that, the more organic material, and with organic material will come the little microbes. The more you get in there, the better that soil, it's becoming soil, the better it can digest. So when we grow something in it, even if it doesn't grow real good, and then we turn animals on it, they eat it and manure it right back. It closes the loop. Like they're putting more diverse nutrients or biological life into that soil, which in turn will digest the organic material that is, you know, residue from the crop that we've just grown. So with that model, it gets better and better and better. Does it ever get too good? I don't know. I'm not there, but I can tell you, if you walk out here in this this sow pen where I grew rye, Beth, you know I love rye. It was the last time I was out there, it was above my head. Just a ton of material on the ground. The sows ate what they could, but then it kind of went past and it wasn't so green anymore. And now it's kind of brown. And what you would do is you would go out there with a combine and you'd combine it off and you'd have all this grain. And that grain you would feed back to the animals. I don't have a combine, plus it's just a quarter an acre, so it doesn't really matter. But as these things start to tip and they get down low, the pigs will walk around and they'll rip them right off and chew them up. And they'll get it all. And then all the stalks will become part of the organic material out there. I'll eventually turn that down, and we're getting better and better. You know, you think about before we were here, the fertile plains, you know, where the grass on the plains was, you know, you couldn't see the buffalo in it. It was so high. We can, if we pay attention to nature, we can get that fertile. There's no reason we can't do that. Okay. But anyway, let me see what you guys are saying here. Let me put on my spectacles. Man, everything's working good. Nancy's with us. I heard Nancy saying she's going to move to the United States. Wants to come to the United States. Did I hear that last night? Would you look at that? Sean Wise is with us. My kids come tomorrow from Belgium. Super excited. Haven't seen them since 2019. Wow. They will learn to grow and help me farm, see if they like it. Boy. Oh, I forgot to say, tonight's show is sponsored by Spears Automotive. Yeah, and his kids actually worked for us on Wednesday. And then two of them, there was three of them Wednesday. And then two of them were with us today, the two younger ones. And so this show is sponsored by Spears Automotive, and I highly recommend them. They've got a great maintenance team. The way things are going to be is, I guess, till 2024, you can't get some chips for the brand new cars. So you're going to have to keep maintaining your older cars. I kind of recommend getting a 10-year-old car anyway, because that way all the bugs are worked out of it. And then the mechanics have seen enough of them where they know what to do with them when it makes this noise, you know. The brand new ones, when it makes a noise like it's a year old, we don't know what makes that noise. So the older cars are the way to go. And Spears Automotive, they sell cars too. And so he makes a conscious effort to buy certain types of cars because they are the maintenance people, and they have their own maintenance shop right there with two aces working there. Two aces, Aaron and Will. They're really good. So I highly recommend them. And a lot of people have taken my advice and gone in and gotten really good service and, you know, a fair deal. All right. So Sean Wise says, that's my goal, is to get his kids going. Okay. So along those lines, like you guys are bringing it up, people have a hard time at getting their own kids going. That is pretty standard, right? Because you're the parent. You don't know as much as the parents next door. That's just a given. And we have had really good luck with people coming to work for kids. They're all kids, like my niece and nephew, two of my nephews. And I don't hold back, you know. I bear down on them. Kids need to learn how to work, and it's sort of like I'm the bad guy at first, but then they get in working with my kids, and you know, my kids will just say, "Well, just don't look him in the eye" or something, you know, and they'll just. And then we break for lunch, and everybody's yucking it up, and so these kids that were working with us this week, a little apprehensive about butchering chickens, but by the middle of the day, they're having a good time. By the end of the day, it was like, can we come here and work again? Like they weren't even concerned about the pay. And today we paid them. We don't pay them much. It's sort of like a stipend, you know. I tell them, oh yeah, we pay a lot, but lunch is very expensive, and you pay for that. So lunch is $35, and we pay you $40 a day. So that might be an option, but I don't. You didn't say, Nance, how old your kids are. You look to be about 25, so these kids could be quite young. All right, the cleric says, you've absolutely been the kick in the butt we've needed for many things. Milk cow teaching, many things we wanted, but you gave us the confidence to just do it. Well, I appreciate you saying that. But now you're it. I just tagged you. So you're it. And you're doing it. I mean, we asked you to do it and you did it. So that is outstanding. And I don't think I don't think it's a small thing. You're going to be able to do all the classes that you did already, or the both classes that you did already. And then I believe that you'll do Homestead Hog Harvest with us one time and you will be ready to take the reins. I believe that. All right. So we'll see. Not that, I mean, if you need us to come twice, usually that has been how it's worked. But if you can take it after one, it's all yours. Sean Wise says he has influenced way more people than he knows. You must be talking about me. How do you know that? Like, I see the view count, 12 people on here tonight. Not that I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm doing what I'm asked to do and I do it. So whatever. Okay, Andy, how do you feel about bottle calves to start a veal herd? Okay, you asked. That's a pretty direct question. I thought of that when I first did this, right? When I first was going to come here, I came here on vacation. All right, so I was active duty. Me and Joe would come here on my leave, and we would stay here for usually 2 weeks. And I heard from some people here that, oh wow, the calves from the dairy operations, especially the bull calves, they don't want them, and they have very little value. So I thought to myself, what if I get them and I feed them out, and we butcher them and sell the meat, right? That sounded like a good thing, but that was my very first like learning to crawl thought. And I remember saying to my friend Paul Hendrigger, I said this to him. I said, out in Michigan, we were in Montana. I said, out in Michigan, they have so many cows in the dairy industry that the bull calves, they call them deacon calves. And you can buy them for $10. And he's like, well, yeah, because that's what they're worth. They're worth $10. I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, well, it's a dairy cow. And if you haven't noticed, bulls, you can't milk. You can try, but you're not going to get anywhere with that. So they're not that good. And then I started to find out, oh, well, let me keep going because you're talking beef, not veal. It says beef, and I thought you meant veal. But let me finish the thought. Whatever. It's an experience that I had that I'll pass on to you. So he said to me that there was a guy up in Shoto. He told me where it was, and I know where the farm is. This is out in Montana. And he says he put a pen out in front of his ranch or his farm. It was a dairy operation. And he put deacon calves in there with a big sign that said free. And he put like 5 of them in there. And somebody else came along and dumped in 2 more. I don't know if it's a true story, but I think it's a true story. I think it is a true story. I got some real stories from that guy. I got some of the best stories you'll ever hear from that guy. Man, out in that country, the things that happen out there, it's just unbelievable. Don't ever ask me about vasectomies, all right? Unless you want to hear a really good campfire story. But so anyway, when I came here, I bought some Deacon calves because I was going to go for it. And yeah, um, you have to. I remember I was going to try. I went to the grain company and I said, "Well, what should I feed him?" And the lady at the counter says, "Well, you're going to want to talk to Bruce." And so I got an appointment to talk to Bruce. He was the, I don't know, the feed guy or whatever. He had a desk and probably still there. And I went in and it seemed kind of official. You know, I sat down. I said, "Well, I'm going to get some of these calves and I want to feed them. I'm thinking about kind of starting a little business and all this stuff." And he's doing a little figuring. He's looking in books and stuff. And then he says, "Corn." Oh, okay. You have that? Yeah, we got corn. So I bought corn, and it was shell corn, and it's the really gross smelling Mountain Dew type stuff. And I fed it to the calves, and they had terrible looking manure. The barn stunk. I didn't know anything about pasturing at the time. Everybody else fed animals in big barns, so I figured that's how you do it. But the farm stunk. I had 6 of them in there, and it just stunk. And so I don't remember what I did with them. I think I butchered a couple of them, and I thought, oh, veal, that should be good. A young calf, oh, that should be really good. Probably tender and probably tastes like, I don't know, like a fairy or something, you know, because it's so young. I don't know if that's a good word to use. But anyway, we butchered one, and the meat, it looks like chicken. It's pink. And when you cook it, nah, there's nothing there. It's bland. So you got to put, Andy, if you were in the Air Force and you go to an Air Force function, you'll have veal cutlet. And it's a chunk of meat. I don't know. And then they camouflage it with a lot of tomato and cheese and stuff. Veal cutlet. Ooh, that sounds good. Or it's either veal cutlet or you tell me what the other one is. Chicken Parmesan. That's it. Yep. So anyway, you're asking about starting a beef herd. How do you feel about bottle calves to start a beef herd? I actually think it's a pretty good idea. If you're going to do Deacon calves, they actually do grow pretty well. I mean, it's you're not going to, like, if you pay $10 for a Deacon calf, let's say, or 20, whatever, it's not the same as buying a Hereford that you'd pay several hundred for, you know, maybe even 500 for. But in 2 years, that Hereford, man, you're going to have beautiful steaks. You could wind up with prime beef, and it's worth, you know, many thousands of dollars if you butcher it yourself, especially. A Holstein, you'll get some nice cuts out of it. I've gotten some really good cuts. I enjoy that beef. I enjoy the fat on it. But the beef industry is it's sort of like the skateboard industry. You know, you've got a skateboard here, it'll take you down the road, it'll do whatever you want to do. But this one over here, oh, this one is the cat's meow here, this one. And it's got all the bells and whistles on it. And that's what they do in the beef industry. They keep raising the standards. And the United States produces some nice beef. I mean, you can go to a steakhouse and get some nice beef in the United States. It's not like that around the world. Not at all. I mean, I've been to several other countries where a steak, don't have it. Or when you get it, it's their idea of a steak is our idea of a piece of roast beef. It's just very different. Let's see, where did I have good steak out of the country? Nowhere. So, hey, I would do it because let's say that you do it for a couple years. What you are going to get out of that is you're going to learn how to contain beef, and then hopefully your shop is up and running. Remember, you got to have about 16 feet for a rail for a beef, and then you can process those beef. If you had a 2-year-old beautiful Hereford that you paid $500 for the calf, and then you've got all that time and feed into, that's not the cow that you want to be practicing on. You probably want to, a Hereford or a Holstein, a dairy cow, you could kind of consider it a learning cow. And if something goes terribly wrong, you're not out that much. Okay. So I think it's a good idea. And the idea of a bottle calf is they are going to bond with you and treat you like their mother because you're the bringer of food. So down the road, if you stay in familiar status with your herd, your beef herd, you can move around them and they're not going to be too rough with you. They might even be a little bit on the clingy side. You remember my pigs, they kind of move away from me all the time. And I don't want them to be really friendly because when I go in there, if they're real friendly, they're all biting your pants. And, you kind of need them to move off. All right. Whoa, Nance, you're going to it. She's 53. My daughter is 14. My son is 16. Usually women don't tell their age or they lie. I'm not saying that. Your picture, it's kind of hard. These pictures are kind of small. But I think you're on the witness protection program because in your videos, you never say anything. You never show a picture of yourself. So you must be on the witness protection program. Yeah. All right. Andy's saying, I recommend a lot of people. Okay. Good. Not veal. Hey, I want to tell you about veal. All right. Do you know what veal is? It's like calves up to about 500 pounds, and they keep them in veal barns, and they just feed them. A lot of times they'll feed them like milk, and they want the meat to be extremely pale. I don't know why. It's not that good. Ooh, John Spears. Our kids really enjoyed working with you and your family. Highly recommend. Right on. That's a good recommendation right there. We're talking about building. The tribe is a big group of people, but what we recommend, what's working for us, is build your sub tribe. So you as the producer of food on the homestead, you want to have somebody in your tribe that does this and somebody that does this. Now, I got a guy that is a forester that I became friends with many years ago. He listens to this once in a while. He knows how to do anything with forestry equipment, and he's a tree climber. In his younger days, he was a tree climber. That's what he did. He climbed up trees, and those guys are highly paid. If you don't know, they're the ones, you see those videos. They have that little chainsaw hanging from their belt. And so, and we started doing pig business, and we share bread with them and, tools. And I could call him actually and ask him for just about anything. He's brought me firewood and really, but that's what we want to foster. You want to have your like your crew of people, and when you get people in your crew, you don't just say, "Well, yeah, he's a good guy to know." Really think of the value of that relationship, that friendship. Think about that. And Americans can be one thing. Americans are really good people, but our media, our social media, our the shows that are on TV makes us a bit petty, and we kind of have. I don't have this, but you see this, and we try to keep our family with it. But you see this high school mentality in adults, where they're best buds, and then they ditch the other guy. They ditch the other family, and that happened to us a few times. Like, what was that all about? We just never knew, and it was a real shocker. But you want to stay away from that, and that's what's called grace. Your friends are not going to be absolutely perfect. It doesn't really matter because you're not perfect anyway. So accept them; they'll accept you with all of your warts and everything else. And as you build your tribe, uh, you're pretty much playing a game of survivor, right? If somebody wants to be in my crew, I don't know if I would say this, but I would do this with young men, like in our scout group. We're going to be doing a scout group, young guys 12 and up, and you're going to model it right after the Boy Scouts, but it will not be Boy Scouts of America because it's been kind of co-opted by um, I don't know, the blue hairs, but we'll just model it like that. I mean, I didn't become an Eagle Scout. I wasn't the sharpest guy there, but the things that I learned in the Scouts and the attitudes, I may not have displayed those attitudes when I was in my early teens, but they were shown to me. And then when I became older, oh, that integrity thing, that matters. I didn't think it did. I thought you could lie whenever you wanted to. So but the whole Boy Scouts of America has been knocked off its foundation, and now they got to let in girls. So I got nothing against girls. I really like girls, but there's a completely different dynamic when you have a scout troop that's run by men, and you're teaching these boys to become men. I don't need girls there for that. I don't. Well, now we can host a family thing as the troop, but there will not be boys and girls wearing the same uniform. Just not going to happen. The girls need to have one of the moms step up and start a girls' club or a girls' scouts, right? And it's all the same stuff: knots, knives, orienteering, attitude, can do, all those things. Husbandry, animal husbandry, cooking, first aid, swimming, rifle range. I shot my first 22 at Boy Scout camp. I will never forget it. That smell. All right. Oh, okay. Andy's saying I see several heifers for 200 or less and breed up with AI. Okay, well, what kind of cows are they, Andy? Are they Holsteins or, because usually that's what you're getting cheap like that. If you're getting beef cows cheap like that, I would jump on that. Veal was better than chicken. Yeah, but you couldn't, if you were blindfolded and somebody gave you a fork full of veal cutlet and said, "What is this?" You'd be like, "I don't know. It's the one that's red." Right. And the other one is the one that was breaded. Is it chicken? I don't know. It's some sort of meat. You couldn't tell. And I ate that stuff for 20 years. I really did. Every time you went to an Air Force official function, where you'd have to put your uniform on and stuff, some dinner. Yep. Veal cutlet, chicken parmesan. Oh, now they do vegan for the snowflake. They probably do. What else would they probably do? Okay. Andy says only looking for Hafers. Hafers. That's my Amish accent. I'm looking for a Hafer. All right. So you're wanting to tell me what kind of cattle we're talking here. Brangus? I don't know what that is. All right. Andre's saying, hi, Holstein bull calves cost less, but they grow up as belly bones and little of meat. Yeah. Well, got a couple out there right now, man, that we did really well with. They go out and they graze with the other cows. There is in farming, all right? In farming, there are things that people say, like there ain't no money in food. There ain't no money in farming. It's like you hear it, and so you think it's an axiom, and you put it in your repertoire, and when the time is right, you're going to be real smart, and you're going to say, well, there ain't no money in farming. And you're going to like it's an original thing that you're saying, right? And you do hear things like that. So you remember a few years ago, she was working at that organic dairy, and he had some lungers, what they call lungers. They cough, so their lungs have been exposed to way too much methane. The dirty, stinking dairies, they're just so bad. And so they become lungers. And Jill got like 5 of them off this guy. And one of them was a heifer. She was not a lunger. She was one that they had given a shot in the rear quarter, and now she's got a curled up foot. And it's really ugly to see, but we're going to keep milking her as long as we can. She's walking on soft ground, and it's okay. It just doesn't look good. And a couple people have said you should get that trimmed, but I don't know. She's a rescue, right? So that's why it doesn't look good. So we could just beef her, actually, and then she would look real good in Mylar packages, right? But then we've got some steers that are Holstein steers, and they're out eating with the cows. Now, when you look at them and you look at like a Hereford, no, it's a different build. It's like looking at I don't know, like a regular Japanese person next to a sumo wrestler. There's just different body types. Yeah, they're all Japanese. I guess maybe that's not a good analogy. Probably shouldn't be people, because you get skinny little people in every nationality, and then you have big fatties too. But so they're a different breed. But the idea that they are not going to make beef, that's not true. I mean, there's going to be some structure there for sure, but you're going to make beef. And you may not have the best return, but you're only paying $20 for the calf. And people will say, well, Holsteins won't eat grass. They'll eat grass. They will eat grass. What a lot of guys are doing now is they are breeding their Holstein milk cows with Angus bulls, small Angus bulls, and then they get a calf that has some value, whether it's a heifer or um, a bull. You know, the heifer you wouldn't use to milk, but it would be a good product for to raise out for beef or fair, I guess. Guys are doing that. Okay. Yeah, Andre, that is true. That is true. But it's not to the point where you shouldn't do it or it's not going to be in any way profitable. The family that lives over here, Amish family, that's all he does is feed bull calves, and he's feeding them for the beef market. That's all he does. Brangus, Angus crosses is what I see and am interested in. All right, go for it. You showed zero a minute ago. Zero what? People listening in? Okay. John, 100% agreed. I'm sure Braden will be one of the first on the list. Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a good kid. I had to tell him today, look, you don't need to talk to those chickens. Just get them in the cones. All right. Just get them in the cones. You got to work faster. Okay, Lane Buck's with us. I also went through my usual thing when we're at lunch. My kids play along with it, and I said, "By the way, you guys, you won't be going home today. I was having a word with your dad, and yeah, you're getting too much to feed over there. So I gave him $50 for the both of you, and you're going to be staying here." And then I go right into, that's how we've gotten all of our kids. And so John's daughter is kind of looking around at my kids like, really? And I said, yeah, if you don't mind, I'm going to change your names. That's okay. But there's other names that I like. You can probably keep your middle names, but Marlo, I think I'd like to call you Debbie. And I had her going for a little bit. I did it to one kid one time, and I couldn't bring him back from it, and he wasn't into it at all. Call my mom. I want to go home. I want to go home. I said, I'm kidding. I was just kidding. Nope, I want to go home. It doesn't work for everybody. Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Okay, Mr. J. Jersey Angus Cross is good as well as she'll feed 3 calves. Yeah. Yeah. I bet it sounds like you know what you're talking about. Yep. Almost no dairies left here. These are all beef. Okay. Boy, what are the people down in Alabama drinking? Probably Kool-Aid, huh? Kevin Nash's Kitchen. For some reason, the YouTube brains left out your channel and thumbnail link to this live stream for me to go see. So here I am. All right. Yeah, I don't. They might not really like me too much because I make fun of blue hairs. I don't know. No, Kevin Nash. I am in Michigan, and I moved here in 2004 after I got out of the service. And when I was moving here, Amish were moving here at the same time. So we kind of moved in together. This is a really Dutch area. And the Dutch people, they are really close, but they don't exactly invite you over for dinner, like never. So you don't get to know them very well. And I actually had more in common with a lot of the Amish when I first got here. But I don't know, no reason, but I have my own thing going now. I know where to source things. I do some lumber business with an Amish mill, but I don't know if that'll even continue because Parker Holmes is back at Homestead Provisions. So he's got a mill, and honestly, his lumber is like twice as good as my Amish mill. Yeah, some Amish people are really high quality, some are not. You know, some of them do high quality work, some of them don't. It's just like every other community. This guy, some of the lumber I've got from him is just like, I can't believe you put that in the stack. It's so bad. And, but it's like in the center of the stack where you didn't see it. But some of it was okay. But the stuff I got from Homestead Provisions, it is every board is 100%, right? So I don't mind paying for it, but some of the Amish stuff was, the board was not actually a board. It was just like a pith. It was all pithy. All right. I'm in Marion, Michigan. All right. Shaw Lake. Kevin, he's in Michigan. All right. Okay, you're in Michigan too. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. What do you do? That sounds interesting. Kevin Nash. They like their moonshine. I had some. Never again. Never again. A good buddy of mine makes it. I got two buddies that make it. And I tried some. Nope. Never again. Andre, I'm a dairy farmer and I used to keep some bulls for meat and noticed that crossbreds give better return even if they cost more as calves. Yeah. Mr. J. Andy, I'm drinking raw milk in my part of Alabama. You're not in Greenbow, though, are you? Kevin says, cool. I will never forget my buddy on a motorcycle ride one day and what he said. He said, I wonder if those Amish people will be out working around today. Like it was some zoo exhibit. Yeah. Well, the ones around here, when we drive by, it's like there was some that lived in a house right over here. And so when we would drive by, we were the only car or only whatever, pickup, whatever, and there was no other houses. So they'd all be out doing things and they would all stop what they're doing. And my kids would imitate them because they would all just watch us drive by. They didn't wave or anything. And then we would wave and they would, oh, hi. Yeah, we got to be pretty good friends with them. Oh, Andy, you're in Marion, Alabama? Is that true? I'm in Marion, Michigan. I'm kidding about Greenbow, Alabama. You know that. But I didn't know you lived in Marion. Maybe I did, and I didn't. Huh. All right. Well, we got a great weekend coming up. I hope you know that this weekend is to commemorate Independence Day. This was when the signing of the Declaration of Independence was signed. And at the time it was signed, the men who signed it were either going to achieve independence from England or they were going to hang. And a lot of them actually did hang, but yeah. Yeah, we do fireworks a lot too. My kids really have a hoot with it. We actually have bottle rockets and we set up barricades and get behind them. And then we have little pieces of pipe and we have wars with them. And it's really fun. So. Okay. Nancy's taking off, going to run. Fireworks going on. Canada Day today. Have a good weekend, everyone. Have a good 4th of July as well. Kevin says, I speak German, but they speak something else. Yep. North Alabama. Bottle rocket wars. Cool. Yeah. Oh, the best. The best. Wear your safety glasses, though. Don't start any fires. We had rain last night, right? It's not like it's going to rain or anything. And we, unbelievable clap of thunder last night. Unbelievable. Like it shook the house. I thought like a shell had gone off. It was loud. And, but I maintained. All right. So let's see. We've got Tribe Day coming up next week. Probably won't have a show next Friday. I know we won't because people start showing up Friday afternoon, and we do have campfire Friday night. The festivities start Saturday. I've got to get a pig butchered next week. I've got a lot of carpentry work to do, a lot of painting to do. And we have some processing to do on Thursday. So it's going to be quite a week. I started hauling hay in today. I've got a lot of hay cut, and I've got to get it in the barn. So I got lots to do, and really glad that I do. 4th is Monday, right on. Yep. All right, I'm going to get going. Remember, anyone can farm and start looking for the Tribe Plus. I want you all in there.